Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 216 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Hey. Man, it's been a busy weekend. Even though there's like no sports, it's been a super busy weekend still.
Well, it's a holiday weekend, right? So,
and my son came home and now he's got to go back and all sorts of stuff.
Wait, do you have to take him back or does he like drive himself back?
No, so again, our whole car situation, we were down a car, had to buy a new car. Like we bought literally a new car every year the past 3 years because of just nonsense. But no, he does not have a car up there as a freshman. He could, but we just don't have enough cars. You know what I'm saying? How many cars can you have before like it's ridiculous?
Before it's too many cars.
Yeah. So, I mean, because my middle one that swims has to take a car everywhere. You know, then my daughter's got to go to school because she goes to school outside of our town. So she gets no bus transportation. I mean, she does get bus transportation because she goes to a magnet school, but it would be like an hour something because she'd have to like switch buses and stuff.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat with my son. It's like, I can just drive him myself and it's like half the time versus making him take the bus. So,
but like when we I have to go to physical therapy for my hip on Tuesday morning at the same time she's going to this and my son's going to school. No, we don't have an extra car for him just yet. So
no, I get that. I mean, when I was a freshman, I didn't at first bring my car, and then I found like a parking lot that nobody cared about that didn't require permits, so that was like really far away. But there was like a bus that took you there.
Well, that's what my son has as a freshman. They have that too. Yeah.
Yeah, like, but it was just like a loophole that I found, right? Like, was that these apartments that no one cared about, right? Like, because they were so far away that no one even checked. But like, at my, and I think this is the case in most schools, right? It's like really hard to get a parking permit, and they were like really expensive. And I mean, we used to have to like people would camp out the day before they went on sale because they were so hard to get.
My son's school doesn't have that because they have this huge lot that you have to get bused to. That's for freshmen.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal. It's just, again, he doesn't have a car this year because we just don't have a car. So my wife's driving him, but like it's a 6-hour trip because it's 3 hours up, 3 hours back.
Yikes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it makes a long day. So we did, we did a lot of our Easter stuff yesterday, and then just dyed eggs this morning and things like that. So it was, again, just a busy weekend, even though it wasn't. I've been editing this What's in My Attic video and reshot it like 3 times. Like, I need to just be done with it at this point. And then what else have we been actually doing? And then trying to figure out this cruise, like if we're doing this cruise or not, which I think we are.
I was going to say, I thought you already said you were doing it.
Yeah, I mean, but like now we have to, like, I've been calling some of my friends because listen, I understand there's going to be people that might know the podcast, but I would still feel better if I was able to get some of my friends to go as well.
Wait, so who else? What is this cruise about? Like, it's another podcast? Okay.
Yeah, it's for another podcast. And when I was talking about going in June of 2024, Jeremy hit me up and was like, "Hey, you should come on this one." And I was kind of like, nah. And then I was like, well, that would kind of be like, that would be a movie, right? Like I could do that, like, cause it would just be crazy. And then my son was like, wait, like the meme dude, Jeremy's going. He's like, dude, I'm going. And I was like, okay.
Wait, Jeremy's all right. Famous amongst your family? Is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Nice. So they were like, well, should we go? And it's like, yeah, because like it's a cruise with people. Like it would just be a movie in general. So I think we're going to do it. I don't know who I'll know, but it will be, I think there's like 50 people going.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think there's like 50 people. So I think
listeners of this podcast, really?
No, of their podcast.
That's what I'm saying. When I said this, I meant that podcast, whatever.
Yeah. So that's I think it's going to be crazy. And plus the thing is like, honestly, I'm booking it now, but like, I mean, it's in 2024 of June. Like I can cancel whenever I want. Like if I decide I don't want to go, but the price was cheap, man. So I think we're good.
I wonder if we did a cruise, a show cruise, how many people we could get together for that. That seems like a lot of coordination.
Yeah, and I mean, it would only be us, Tom, because Trevor couldn't go. So
Trevor wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go solo,
fans.
but
I was gonna say you could go without your wife, though, right? Like,
I wouldn't do that though, man.
You're right, David.
I feel guilty. Like I feel bad. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Dude, I mean,
we both felt bad enough when we went to Disney without our wives. So.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I just don't know. I don't think I would want to. Like, to be honest with you, like, if we do another Disney like meetup, like my wife would definitely come.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it was hard, I'll admit. Like I had a couple of moments, and I think I even said it to Tom at one point. It was like, I wish my family was here to see this kind of thing, right? And
like,
it's just
listen, I could go without I haven't been on vacation without my kids since like 17 years. No, 19 years. But I think I could do it now going without them, but I still don't think I'd go without my wife.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's
just not me, man. I don't know how people do it. I just don't.
I mean, in general, I'm somebody that like, I like to go to the movies by myself every once in a while. Like, I like to do stuff by myself. So like, but it was still weird going without.
But that's different. Like when you're at home, right? Like you're gone for a couple hours. It's not okay, I'm getting on a plane and going.
Well, because I equate that to me like going out and exercising. Right? Exercising, a movie, whatever that is, like it's all kind of, it's funny though, but I think about like when we were first married before we had kids, dude, I think I played basketball every day for 4 hours a day. And I just look back like, man, my wife must have been like, what's up with this dude? Like, right? Like, gosh, playing basketball every day for like 4 hours, Monday through Friday. Jeez. Yeah. No, but anyway, I wouldn't necessarily go anywhere without my wife. She travels for work sometimes. And that's kind of, I guess, her time away from me. But I don't look at it like that.
No, listen, I get it. I mean, ideally, my wife would have come with me for the meetup. Like, she wanted to come. It just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you have a young kid, too, which is a little different.
Well, yeah, but we could have, I mean, my parents live an hour and a half away. We did a couple Disney trips without my daughter, during the pandemic, and that was fine. Like, we could have worked that out. It was more she just couldn't get off of work. Like, that was really all it was, right? Like, so, and she was saving up vacation time for the long trip we took, later that year. So it was, she doesn't get a lot of vacation time at her work. So it's a lot more restrictive of, when we can actually go.
I mean, my Disney trip's coming up soon, though, I feel like.
When are you going again?
I'm going in June for like a long time.
It's really soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really
I mean, I'm not doing anything except that one day in Epcot, but we're doing, like I said, different stuff. Like I'm trying to go to just around the resorts, foot golf, other sorts of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're gonna.
I wouldn't mind doing
activities.
I wouldn't mind doing the land back behind the scenes thing if we go to
behind the scenes. Oh, you should do behind the scenes. It's a great tour.
I think if we go to Epcot that day, I think maybe we will do that.
Dude, behind the scenes is like the cheapest tour too. It's like I don't even know what it is now, but when we did it was like $25.
But I here's the problem. My kids are funny, right? Like they think they're funny and they are funny, but sometimes they do things that are like, why? Right? Like, why would you do that?
They're
like,
teenagers.
And not like, yes, they are. And this is the fear that I have. Like when they're together, they're like the Wonder Twins. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just wondering like, dude, you won't eat that cucumber. Yeah, you bet I will. Like, no. Like, you
they just get themselves they get each other into trouble.
Yeah, they do, and
the sum of both of them is greater than
absolutely. Like, and I don't think that they would do anything. Like, they wouldn't do anything mean or terrible. But like, yeah, I just don't know. I worry. Like, sometimes.
They're not going to hop on one of the boats and live.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But,
I know what you're talking about because I was the same way with my siblings.
Yeah,
like,
and the other thing is, for how athletic they are, like my one son is very what am I thinking of? Like, and you're just not aware of your surroundings. Like he
doesn't know how strong he is. Is that like
no? He's just not very like gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? What? No, not even that. Like perceptive. No, because he's super coordinated. So, like, again, he plays sports. Like, he's really good. He's just not perceptive. So, like, he'll just be walking along, thinking about something, not paying attention. and then like knock over all the strawberries that exist in the land, right? Like I could see that. So
he's gonna go by one of those racks of the stuff and just hit one of them, and they're all gonna fall like dominoes.
Or again, like not be paying attention and fall into like the salmon pit. Is it salmon or trout? What is it again? Like,
I think it's trout. I want to say it's trout.
Okay, whatever it is. Yeah. Like I could see that. Like that would be a problem, but it would be funny. But like, I just don't want to get kicked out of Disney for life. Like, I don't want a lifetime ban because my son tripped and knocked over, all the trout. And then they went into the, the aquarium with the they floated downstream and went into the aquarium and then the sharks ate them. I just don't do all that. So,
man.
I mean, if it was accidental, I don't know if Disney hands out bans for accidents.
That is true.
They may ask you to nicely leave that day, but.
Oh, that would be funny though. So yes, but anyway,
I feel like you have to do it.
that's our trip coming up, and then like I said, we're going to Dollywood at the end of the summer. But that's and Hilton. We'll be at Hilton Head Memorial Day.
Nice.
So that's it. I mean, you got your time. You're not doing too much this summer. You said, right?
I'm literally doing nothing. Yeah, no.
I mean, Trevor.
We're going to New Jersey a couple times, but that's for weddings and stuff.
Yeah.
I've got some trips out to Canmore planned, and that's about the extent of it this year. So I guess I go to Canmore every year, but I'll be able to say I'm going to where they filmed The Last of Us because
nice.
I still haven't jumped into that, man. I started the first episode and then like I put it on hold because Tom tricked me into watching Yellow Jackets. So now
you're hooked into that. So
and I watched Unstable.
Okay,
like
what's that one?
It's on Netflix. It's really good because my wife took my son to Boston to look at colleges for some recruiting trip. So they did that and I watched that Unstable. And now I'm watching Night Agent, which is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Netflix. I've been on Netflix a lot
actually. Yeah.
So and The Mandalorian.
Those ones.
Yeah, so I've been watching, The Mandalorian's been good. And I'm like so keyed into this what the epic like hive, right? I think I talked about this before, but like the epic hive is so cool that like I'm just totally keyed into all that sort of stuff now too. Been watching a ton of stuff about that.
I actually just, so I do have a small trip planned this summer. So my brother-in-law, my soon-to-be brother-in-law is for his bachelor party, wanted to go camping, which he's a big camping person, right? So it makes sense for him. But I hate camping.
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both.
Yeah. So and truthfully, half of the group hates camping, right? So and he doesn't have a wedding party, but he was going to plan his own bachelor party. I'm like, you can't plan your own bachelor party, like that's So it's like, listen, I'll take care of it, right? But like trying to find a place that can accommodate both people that don't like to camp and people that do is harder than you would think. So
oh no, I can understand that.
Yeah, so I got like this like really ghetto cabin for like for half the group, and then the other half is staying in the little tent area. So that's the thing I'm doing for 2 days in New Jersey.
Wait, in New Jersey?
Yeah, in New Jersey. Yeah,
right on the
Delaware. So
okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
So ask if this was at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, Camp Crystal Lake is in New Jersey. I think actually where they filmed it was New Jersey. If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Wait, are you going whitewater rafting or no?
I think we might because the campground.
Yeah, that's like I feel like the only thing to do there. Yeah.
I mean, the campground's literally right on the Delaware, and they do rentals right from the campground. So it's like, maybe we should do it. I mean, they also do like the tubing too, where you just like you have a tube filled with drinks.
Yeah, I'm not about that tubing, but whitewater rafting. I used to be. I just don't want to get brain amoebe'd though, so I don't know.
I don't like natural bodies of water. These
yeah, me either. Not in the summer either.
Yeah. Well, this is early. This is like beginning of June. So, but yeah. So I am doing one thing, but I mean, it involves me doing something I don't enjoy. So, but I'll do it for him though. So anyway, wow, that was a whole almost 15 minutes at the beginning of the show here, just us talking.
Well, dude, that's okay because I'm literally looking at the rest of this, going, okay, what do I want to talk about? What do I want to talk about?
Well, why don't we start by getting through these listener questions and then we can see what the rest of it looks like.
What Justin wants to know: what resorts would you recommend for people renting DVC points? Wife also wants to wake up to see animals. So, which Animal Kingdom lodge would you recommend? Truthfully, okay. So, as the resident Animal Kingdom lodge person here, I think they're both great. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for. Like Jumbo House has like the big gigantic lobby that's like, actually Damon, you stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge too, but I mean,
I would actually say I think I've stayed there more than you.
It's possible. I mean, you guys always stay at Kidani though, right? Like you don't stay at
Yes,
Jumbo.
I'm not. I have no interest, zero interest in the Jumbo Lodge or whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid, whatever that stupid extra stop on the bus is what I would call it.
Now,
Jumbo has the more grand entrance, right? It's got like the 2-floor Wilderness Lodge kind of entrance, and there's the quick service option there, and it's but I like Kidani better because the rooms there are purpose built for DVC, and so like they're not like adapted rooms, and so like I don't know, I prefer Kidani. It's got a more
which is the small one?
That's Kidani. Kidani's the small.
Oh yeah, I don't like that one then. I like the big one. The big one.
You just said you don't want Jumbo.
Yeah, well, I forget which one's which though. I just the
Jumbo's the one with the huge lobby.
The huge lobby, the big one, the real one.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah, that's the one I stay at. I don't like the other one.
Okay, so it's the other way around.
Yeah, it's the other way around. Okay. I am so not invested in Animal Kingdom because of its nasty food that I just can't even wrap my head around
two of the best
caring.
restaurants on property.
Yeah, they're just the worst.
Yeah.
So okay. I guess you kind of roundabout answered Justin's question about which one to stay at.
I mean, it's really it's up to personal preference, though. It's
if you want the bigger experience, stay at Jumbo, and if you want something, smaller, I guess I wouldn't call it out of the way, but a smaller area, you stay at Kidani. Now they both have the animals views, correct?
Yeah.
Because it's like that center courtyard area that they both look over.
Like they've got like their own little savannas, kind of like it's one big savanna, but they're kind of like all. Yeah.
But are these two questions here? Like, what would you recommend renting? But his wife wants to see animals. I mean, obviously, if you want to see animals, right, then there's only one
Animal
spot.
Kingdom's the place you're going to do it. Yeah.
But if I was renting points,
I mean, I've seen ducks outside the window at Polynesian. Does that count?
If I was renting points, I think it would almost depend on how many trips in I was. If I had an interest in, if I had DVC already and just needed more points and was renting, or if I was planning on DVCing, like it would all kind of have to factor in. Because if I'm just looking to rent points, I mean, I'm trying to rent the cheapest points I can. And Key West is like my new favorite anyway. So that's where I would go.
Yeah, you're going to get pretty cheap there. I mean, I would also say, though, that Animal Kingdom is not a bad option. You'll probably have not that difficult of a time finding Animal Kingdom reservations, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess then, if you're looking at renting, it's, kind of thinking about that. There's that Venn diagram of, location,
price,
cost.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And my diagram leans heavily towards cost, I feel like at this point.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's tough because it really just kind of depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for proximity to Magic Kingdom, then you should go with Bay Lake or Grand Floridian or Poly, right? Like,
I would agree with that. So I think if you were to tell me that my kids were younger and I was going to Magic Kingdom more, then I probably want a boat ride there. I'll be honest with you.
So then Grand Floridian or Poly, I guess, right? Because you're not,
or even
walking there, right?
Or even Wilderness. Yeah, Wilderness. Yeah. You could do that too. Either any of those would work out. But I mean, like, if you want easy access to Epcot, then do Beach Club or Boardwalk, right? Like, there's, if you want Skyliner access, then do Riviera. Like, there's a lot of options there. It really just kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's tough question. We need more details, Justin. So Dan asked an impossible question too. My wife's birthday's coming up. Give me some gift ideas. First of all, Dan, we're not doing your work for you, okay? Like,
but let him feel my pain. My wife wants something for her birthday. She wants a pocketbook. Okay, now, I thought I got her a really nice one at Christmas, and I was told that, well, that works if I'm carrying a laptop, because she wanted something. She told me she wanted something bigger with more pockets. Okay, so I went and bought one, right? Like, thought it was really nice. Like, I was all like happy about it, and she, hey, oh, this is great. And then like I come to find out today, she's like, yeah, like it's good if I'm going on a work trip pocketbook, like, because it's bigger and it's a little stiffer. She's like, but it's not what I wanted. So then I'm like, okay, fine. Well, because we were at church this morning, she's like, oh, I really like her pocketbook. So, okay, that's a Louis V. Neverfill. Like, that's kind of expensive, but yeah, whatever, man. So she's like, no, but I don't want to spend that much money. I said, okay, well, what do you want then? She goes, well, I want something like that. And I said, okay. So, I'm kind of looking online, and I go, oh, what about this? And I feel like it fits exactly what she wanted, right? She needs it to be like smushy, like a hobo bag, but it needs to come down to her hip. And I don't know. There was all these sort of rules around what sort of bag it needed to be. And I thought I found it. She goes, that's hideous. And I just go, well, then I'm just going to get you the Louis V bag. And she's like, no, I don't want it. She goes, I'm going to hate it if you get it for me.
At that point, you just got to be like, you just buy your own bag.
But I don't I like to give presents where people don't know what it is. I hate that if you're going to tell me like, hey, well, I want this. Well, listen, we're married. We have our joint bank account. Just go buy it. Like, then leave me out of the whole equation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, if I'm buying something for my wife, it's coming out of both of our money anyway, right? Like,
that's not really a gift. The gift part of having to get somebody something that is your significant other is the surprise factor. So if you're taking that out, that's just a purchase. That's not a present.
Well, and so just to finish reading Dan's question, give me some gift ideas from each of you. One Disney related, one non-Disney themed.
I refuse because I don't need Dan's wife and my wife mad at me for pocketbook issues.
Well, my wife's birthday is coming up too, actually, and I just straight up asked her what she wanted, and I'm just going to buy her what she's asking for.
We were trying to go away for her birthday too, right? Just like for a long weekend, but we can't find a weekend that even we have any time free to do it. So it just turns into a whole big thing, man. Yeah. Like Christmas is a little bit easier for me because I have the whole year. I mean, well, obviously I thought it was easier. Now this pocketbook debacle like has set me back because I have no idea. I still think this pocketbook was great, but I don't know. I'm out on that one. Dan, I'm out. I'm out on this.
I mean, Dan, it's impossible to answer because we don't know your wife. We don't know what she likes. We don't know what she wants. Like, because like, I could just go generic and say jewelry, but like my wife doesn't like jewelry, right? Like, so
my wife would never wear Disney jewelry.
See, my wife has some Disney jewelry, but again, she wears no jewelry. So like, it doesn't even matter. Like she's just not into jewelry. So
yeah, this question is too hard to answer.
It's impossible.
And I don't want to be blamed for anything either. Here, how about this? You know what you can get your wife? You can get her a weekend where you take off of work for the weekend. How's that?
There you go. Oh, I like that. There you go. Dan's just trying to use us as a scapegoat. That's what it really is.
That's what I feel like too.
Yeah.
I actually tried to book like a spa thing for my wife for her last birthday.
Oh, that would work. Yeah.
And when I told her so it's kind of funny, Damon, you're talking about like you can't win. Yeah. When I told her, she was like, actually that's, that was a good idea, but I'm glad you didn't because it's not actually what I wanted to do. And so I kind of just dropped it at that point. I was like, okay, I'm not going to, look at spa things again as a birthday gift because clearly there's a bunch of rules there that I don't know.
Rules you're not aware of.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's fine. I mean, for me, the simple answer is my wife would love a Disney purse, a Dooney and Burke. That's the easy Disney one. And then non-Disney related, my wife likes baking, so I can basically find any kind of tool used for baking. Yeah. Like there's all kinds of like, I don't know, like
absolutely
fancy silicone baking sheet, mold, whatever things. Yeah.
So yeah. On a side baking note, I finally completed my cake. Wait, I think you guys should have seen it on my Facebook.
I saw it on your Facebook. Yeah,
dude, it came out like a real really cake. Good. Yeah, it came out like a real cake. So a vanilla cake. I got freeze dried raspberries online and used a little bit of that in the icing and then made a raspberry compote. Came out really good. Like, I think like not perfect. So I still think I have some work to do. The cake was a little dense, I would say. But I think it came out tasting really good. So I think that I'm in on this cake baking. Now, this is my new thing. Like I'm done with cookies for a little bit because I feel like I've conquered cookies. Now I need to figure out this baking thing because cakes are harder than I thought. Like the first one that I made, the first one that I made was like some recipe and it was just like, dude, this is easy. So I put it together and I was like, yeah, not so much. This one had me like throwing milk and butter in the microwave and tempering it in with eggs and flour and then ladling out 2 things of the egg mixture into, this and that. And like, it was some work,
that
man.
You've never had to do before, like.
Yeah, I mean, and it got completed and it tasted pretty good, but I still think a little dense. I think that I'm going to blame the baking powder because I think that no one ever realizes how old your baking powder is.
Oh God, no! Everybody's baking powder is from at least 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody has new baking powder. It's always 5 years.
I think I got to go with some new baking powder, and then I'm going to give this another whirl.
Yeah, I actually, you'll appreciate this, Damon. I got excited the other day because we kept breaking the glass bowls for our stand mixer. Like, we broke like 3 of them, right? So it's like, why do I keep doing this to myself? They have metal bowls. Let's just switch to one. Yeah, it was like, I don't know why we keep getting the glass ones. Just get the metal one. And plus the metal one, I got unreasonably excited about this. That you could get the little thing that you put on the lid that you put on top where you can put flour in, and the flour doesn't go everywhere. It's like the shield.
Yes.
I'm so excited about that. And I when I made banana bread, I was like, oh my gosh, look how clean everything is. Look at this. No flour everywhere. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Just that, stupid stuff like that just makes you happy sometimes.
This might lend itself back into the wife's birthday present.
There you go.
Maybe there's some baking stuff there. Yeah.
That, like I said, that's where I go.
That's where you went.
My wife always enjoys it. So
yeah. So Tanya wants to ask, with annual passes returning, any thoughts on how this will affect DVC resale prices? I don't know if it will. I mean,
yeah, I don't think it will.
I don't know.
Because the whole thing about annual passes is they've always been a perk, and it's always been known that if you're buying into DVC, don't assume that annual passes are going to be available. So just because they're coming back as a perk right now, I don't see that suddenly making people choose to not buy resale. Like I feel like if you're going to buy resale, like I don't think annual pass discounts are going to tip the scale. If it was free annual passes, maybe.
If it were free annual pass, it's just it's a small discount. It's not like
this is just a discount on annual pass. So yeah.
Why does she mean that, or just in general with annual passes being available? Does that mean people are going to want to come more and therefore want more DVC?
It's interesting, Damon, because when I first read this question, I read it in that way, right? Like, is it going to make prices go higher because the demand for contracts is going to get bigger? But then Trevor
people will say, like, hey, if I buy 400 points, I can come 3 times a year. And if I get an annual pass, then it might be worth it to have more points. That's a possibility. But this has made me think of another question, which now I just need the answer to. So if, let's just say you were going to go to Disney for a single day, like I'm going to right over the summer, and we don't know if we're going to have 5 people or 6 people with us, let's just say, can you buy an extra ticket with no name on it, or is that not possible?
Yeah, I think
you can do that now.
Yeah, I think you could just buy a ticket, right?
I don't think so, but that's where I was debating.
So when I bought tickets last year, as soon as I bought the tickets, it immediately went to park reservations and who's going, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true with the park reservations, yeah. But you can transfer tickets. You can transfer them to other people, though, can't you? Because I feel like I've done that before.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. I think until the ticket is actually used, you can transfer it around, but I don't know if you can just buy one and have it sitting there. I'll have to look into that now.
So the official answer, I Googled this very quickly. Yes, if a ticket has not been used, you can reassign a ticket to another person.
Okay.
So, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then this next thing that has a lot of notes under it for no real reason, because I think it's enough.
Damon, I always prefer to give you more information than less information, and then you may choose to read what you choose. That way you don't have to click on any links. I'm trying to make life easy on you.
That is true. I hate links clicking.
Yeah, it's good because you can kind of read through the whole summary of what it is and glean out.
Tell us about it, Tom.
Interestingly enough, I actually think that this news could mean more for resale prices than the AP stuff, right? Even though, so like basically it's being reported by DVC News that the 100-point minimum purchase has returned for DVC direct contracts, right? So they had moved to a 150-point minimum, so that was the lowest you could buy was 150. Now it's back to 100.
New buy-in,
for new buy-ins, for new buy-ins.
Hold on a second. Does it give you all the perks? I thought you still had to go to 150 for perks.
You do. There's the caveat, which is why it's interesting to me, because they're allowing people to buy in at 100 points, but you have to buy in at 150 to get the perks, which is really interesting.
But I guess if you want to make 2 purchases then to get to your 150, right? So like you could buy 100 and then a year later buy 50 and you're in, or no? Does it have to be at one time?
I think as long as you have 150 direct points, then you're fine.
So,
like, yeah, see, even the article says owners must accumulate. Yeah, Trevor, you're highlighting it right now.
Yeah. Reading further down, it says, owners must accumulate at least 150 direct purchase. So actually, that's kind of what you're saying, Damon. Is you could buy 100 now and then buy 50 later. Okay, so that actually changes my mind a little bit, because I was going to say, well, if there's no perks, just buy resale, because what's the difference, right? But I guess if it's getting you closer to the perks.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
I mean, it's still it is like, I read this and I saw Becky said in the Discord. So wait, they're creating another tier of DVC owner, the tier that has 100 direct points and doesn't get the benefits but still has direct points. Like she was, and I don't really see it that way, but like I understand why they're doing this, right? Because a lot of people are like 150
teal card.
Yeah, the teal card, right? But actually, in a lot of ways, that might be kind of cool if they did like a different level, right? If you bought like 50 to 100 points, you get the teal card, and you get like one benefit, right? Like you get like.
What if it was
magic.
You could pick your benefit?
What's that?
You could pick what your benefit was.
Yeah, you could pick it. Yeah, I like that idea. Like that's some flexibility right there, right? You could say, "Well, I want you'd only could pick it once, though, right? Do you have to pick it once, or can you change it?"
I think you got to pick it, and then that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you choose wisely.
choose wisely.
Yeah, you can change it only when you get 150, because then you have them all.
Yeah. So it's not like a yearly thing where you can, you can decide every use year. It's like, oh no, you know what? This year I'm going to do the member lounge instead of Moonlight Magic. Oh
no, they don't get access to the member lounge though. That's not even an option.
Okay, so only 150 and above gets okay.
Yeah.
Which technically disqualifies me because I only have 100 direct points. So
no, we're grandfathered in. So
we're grandfathered, not in Damon's mind, but
no, not in my mind. I think that actually should be taken away, to be honest with you. But
no, don't take
I hope at some point I'm able to come on the podcast and chuckle that it's been taken away. I'll be honest with you. Like that's a dream of mine. That's a dream of mine.
That's so hard.
Well, but Trevor, don't you have direct points or no?
I have 100 direct points and I have 75 resale.
But hold on. So when you bought your 100 direct points, though, you at that point got your card. It wasn't like it was at 150. So no, that you're fine because you got the card with direct points when that was the number that was needed.
Yeah, so did I.
Is Tom the same way or no?
Yeah. I mean, I bought earlier than Trevor did.
But there was people that have resale that were grandfathered in to the card that have no direct, isn't there?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they've ever. Yeah, it's never been.
So the only thing that you guys were grandfathered in for is what? The fact that you can use your resale points everywhere?
Yes. So that was when I bought my resale. That was right before they made the changes for resale that they couldn't use it at all the resorts. So I can actually use mine at like Riviera and any new resorts that are coming up.
Yeah,
because I got in before that.
Yeah, that's what I wish that they would take away from you guys then.
Yeah.
No, well, that doesn't affect me. So.
I mean, that's,
because you have your other points, so that's understood. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think of all the. It's funny if my direct points, if the Bay Lake points I have were not my direct points, I probably would have sold them already, right? Like, because we never stay at Bay Lake, right? There's other places we stay, but those are the direct points, so I'm not going to sell them, But
unless you're buying more direct points, but then that becomes prohibitively expensive.
It does. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. So, okay. So listen, the only reason, anything else about that one, or do you want to continue?
No.
All right. The only reason I put this one on here was for Becky. So basically, and actually, that's not even what this article is about, but it kind of is about.
Wait, is this where they're taking away my foot golf?
I think this is part of it. Yeah.
But I don't understand, because where foot golf is, how are they taking that away?
Well, I think aren't there multiple places you can play foot golf, or is it just one place?
I don't know.
And also, I don't know if they actually are taking away foot golf. I saw somebody said that in the Discord, but I didn't see that anywhere.
No, I don't understand, because it's on the golf course. Like, I mean, I guess they could, because there is a path to foot golf. Like, you have to walk down a path, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. They take away foot golf, I might have to sell.
Who said foot golf was going away?
Somebody said foot golf, though.
I don't know if that's true.
It wasn't me, but it made me very worried.
to go back and look in the Discord. But the interesting thing, and yeah, I've highlighted again here, is, it says they've cut off, or I guess the summary is they're doing additional road work near the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian, which unfortunately cuts off there was a walking path from Shades of Green over to the Polynesian and Grand Floridian, which was great for people staying at Shades of Green, that you could, quickly get across to those resorts and Magic Kingdom and all that. Now that's going away. So you have to take a bus, which, is a bit more of a pain. The interesting thing too, is they said, this project would see roadways between the Magic Kingdom parking lot and the Grand Floridian to be rerouted and expanded to 4 lanes. It also includes the additions of 3 roundabouts, which that may be kind of alluding to what you're talking about, Damon, with the foot golf, or we'd have to kind of look at what that actually means. Is maybe they're encroaching on the space where foot golf is for some of these.
I don't know. I guess
I gotta find this in the Discord now.
All right. Well, anyway.
Well, yeah, we can come back to it if we find more information, but it's unfortunate. And yeah, hopefully they figure out something after they're done all the construction around the Poly.
Damon, I just searched for foot golf, and the only reference to foot golf I see is it says no foot golf. I'm selling my points, and that was from you.
Yeah, well, obviously I responded to something.
I did a search, and nobody else said foot golf.
Yeah, well, I think your search is very binary. I think you need to flex it a little bit to see whatever that was responded to, because that's why I responded to it. Anyway, all right, while you're looking for that,
I'm not looking.
We have some Imagineer confirming some large creature that could carry people around.
See, I figured you'd be into this, Damon. Okay,
but it's scrap, so why do I care?
Thinking about what could have been.
I don't like to think about what could have been.
I mean, like to think about what could be. It's not. They don't get rid of ideas ever, but I tend to. Let's explain this before I give my thoughts on this.
I mean, it looks interesting, but I mean, it carries 6 passengers. Like, that seems like. Yeah, and it's going to definitely run over somebody. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you can't control a cart,
Look, can I explain what it is before we get into it?
No, you cannot. If you can't control a cart or a stroller, then I don't see how this
Nobody
is
knows
stomping
what you're talking
little
about.
kids.
We got to explain what we're talking about.
Hold on,
here.
back it up.
All right. So a former engineer confirms, I'm going to guess this is Ely, a large creature that could carry guests around Galaxy's Edge, was scrapped due to a budget. And so this was like in the concept art, which basically this giant, furry looking beast thing that supposedly was going to carry up to 6 passengers around, and also, I guess, interact with guests
and eat ice cream. It looks like. Is it eating ice cream? It looks like it's licking ice cream out of a kid's hand.
It says cotton candy.
It says cotton candy. So it's going to lick cotton candy as it's stepping on kids around Star Wars.
Well, that's what I mean. Listen, this looks cool and all, right? But like you said, Damon, 6 people. I mean, how are you going to do that unless you build a giant fleet of them? I mean, you can't. That's impossible. It's huge. It's so
small. By the concept art, it's huge. First of all, look, the concept art doesn't even have it fitting under the friggin' thing, that it's walking next to. Like, how is it even fitting? No, and it's definitely running over people.
We're also talking about a free walking robot that people could ride on, which I don't think exists in the world today. Like, we're just trying to think.
What if Westworld's though? Like, dude, it looks like it's too big it's too big. It's too scary because it could have a mind of its own, and then it's going on a rampage. Like, no.
It's interesting. No, one piece of concept art, it looks like it has giant tusks too. Like,
to kill people when it becomes sentient, takes over. Like, no way.
I mean, but like they intended this to interact with people too, where you could eat.
It looks like
candy.
A wampa. It looks like a wampa in horizontal form.
Yeah. Well, and so this actually says, the quote is, "We were excited to give guests the opportunity to ride Ely, but it was challenging
to run away in fear from this big thing.
It was challenging since only a handful of guests can ride it at any one time." Yeah, that's exactly the problem, right? Is besides, the trampling of people, Damon.
Dude, it would be scary, dude. Kids would be running in fear from this thing, without a doubt.
I mean, it is cool though. Yeah,
could too. It looks like a lot of things. Well, because each piece of the art looks different is the problem.
It does. Yeah, you can see all the different iterations of the design, right? Like,
but I don't know, not for me. Hey, listen though, we got to get the ride in because I have a meeting I have to take in a little bit. So let's random ride before we get the ad in.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
is there spinning wheels?
Well, you get the wheel ready Tom.
Hold on. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the wheel.
Sounds exactly the same as last week.
I'm very consistent with my spinning. I'm just very.
You're like a roulette table guy, pretty much.
Yeah. I got to give it the same strength every time. Again, Damon, it's from the Jersey Shore. You gotta have the right. Although that was always a button. I feel like I don't remember ever hand spinning one, but.
Well, I'm older than you. They hand spun them, so I can go on record and verify that.
I just push the button. So, anyway, what do we got?
I always forget how much younger Tom is. I don't know why, but
not like I'm young. I'm just not as old as you.
Ooh, I guess. I guess that's what it is.
Yeah. All right.
So let's talk about Dumbo and not Aladdin's flying carpets, because I saw your comment.
Well, it's essentially the same ride, right? So.
Yeah, they are. That's true. But yeah, so we got Dumbo the Flying Elephant this week.
One of the oldest attractions, right?
It is. Yeah.
Classic nostalgia.
This was an original attraction at Disneyland. And there's, basically, I think every park they operate has one, right?
Some version of it, yeah.
Yeah. Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, Tokyo Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong Disneyland, Shanghai. That's all of them, right? So every park has some sort of Dumbo ride. So, and it is like one of those things too that you just kind of think of when you think of Disney, right? Like it's almost like I think association.
I think it's classic nostalgia. I think it's probably when you start talking about rides, it's one of the easier rides, right? You can have a parent or two go on it. It's not going up super high. It's got a character that they understand and, can relate to. And it's pretty safe looking. It goes pretty fast. Like, the line in general. I just think it's a classic ride. I don't think that there's anything bad to say about it. I can tell you that I don't think I've been on it in 10 years, but no, that's not true because my daughter probably rode it. So I haven't I don't think, and that's usually a ride I don't personally go on. So I may have not been on it in 10 years, but I think, my wife and daughter, but we don't go on it anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those rides that I think, my personal opinion, think it should be left to the little kids. I think that that's one of those rides that should be like, hey man, if you don't have a kid with you, keep it moving.
Yeah, listen, as a father of a 5-year-old, I agree with this, right? Because even at Disney World, they specifically cater to kids, right? The whole queue area has like a whole play place in it, right? It's very much a kid ride, and Disney has a bunch of variations of this. I was joking about Aladdin's Magic Carpet, but it's the same thing, right? And at Animal Kingdom, they have the Triceratops spin. Again, same thing, right? It's just a spinning ride that goes up and down, but it's great. Like it's honestly Dumbo and Triceratops spin and the flying carpets were my daughter's favorite rides when we were at Disney. So yeah. She loved it. It was her favorite thing. She loved making it go up and down. She did not play in the little play place thing this time, but we had a great time just going on those, and it's it's one of those. It's almost like a Disney rite of passage thing when you're a kid, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, yep. They're a point of entry, like you said, Damon. It's really when you're thinking about hey, you've got a young child, you're bringing them to Disney. You don't want to start them off on a more intense ride. That's why all these variations of it are there, and that's why they're as busy as they are. There's when you look at it, like you said. The majority of the people that are on it are people with young kids. There are, occasionally, people will ride it, a couple or whatever. I personally don't think there's a problem with it. I know Damon will say, they should revoke their Disney card if they, they're getting in with all
I
the
just
kids,
think that when you have rides like this, with kids that in theory could melt down a little bit and do need a little bit of a quicker line, I just think that there should, I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
I think
there should be times of the day.
Yeah. I think the great thing about Dumbo is it is a people eater as much as like Omnimover rides, if you think about it. Like there's always a lineup for it. It's not, the quickest ride necessarily, but I think there absolutely needs to be a Dumbo in every park or something equivalent to it because there's...
What if there was more Dumbo rides? Like, is there maybe not enough?
What do you mean, like of that same style? Or you mean actual Dumbo?
Sure.
I mean, there's a lot at Disney World, right? There's at least 3 at Disney World that I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe I'm missing one, but I think there's 3.
2 in one park and 1 in another.
Yeah, one in another, yeah.
Maybe Hollywood Studios and Epcot could get their own versions.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I think this is one of those things. It's one of those ones.
So
what's
better though? Is Dumbo better than Aladdin?
I think so, just for the nostalgia piece, right? Like it's interesting because Triceratops and Aladdin bring in a different element, right? Like where they have a front and back seat, and they bring in like a rocking thing, right? Like they rock back. They have a different a lever that you can push to make it rock back and forth. And then of course the Aladdin one too, you can get wet on. It can, the camel will spray you if you aren't careful, right? So there's a little bit of a difference there, but not a huge difference. And I do think it's worth noting, though, too, the Dumbo that's at Disney World, I think is the only one that has 2 sets of Dumbo, right? Like they added a whole second set when they redid Fantasyland. And it also, like I said, this was, I feel like, I don't want to say it was the first experiment that Disney was doing on trying to make queues feel like they were shorter, but this one has like the little restaurant buzzer things, and where you can go and the kid can go and play in the play thing. And then when it's your turn to go, they buzz you over and then you get online, right? Like, And that was kind of, I don't want to say it was their first experience, but what's that?
How long ago was that?
I don't know, actually. It's a good question. When did they add that? Maybe
during the Fantasyland I don't remember that,
change?
But again, I don't think I've been on it in so long.
Yeah, that was, it was during, I think it was when they added the second version of it. But wait, let me see here. Yeah. But they have like the little, so Damon, basically like they have these pagers, like the restaurant ones, when it's
like Applebee's
ready. Yeah. And then you go, and I mean, the play area is super cool, right? Like it's really cool, but kind of what you were talking about, Damon, where it's like, you don't want to wait with young kids for that long. Like they made it like really easy.
Well, that makes it different. Then I will rescind my adult situation request. Then I didn't realize that.
So 2012 is when the dual Dumbo rides opened up,
and that's when they opened the play.
And that would make sense because at that point my oldest was already 9-10, so he was.
So you were passing on it anyway.
Well, at least with him. So my daughter may have ridden it with my wife, but that doesn't mean I would have known about the buzzer thing because I didn't ride it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. I just a couple interesting things I think about Dumbo, by the way, is all of them spin counterclockwise except for the ones at Disney World, which spin clockwise.
Well, I thought one of them at Disney World spins clockwise, and the other one's
newer Dumbo one. Yeah. So there's only so they spin an opposite. There's one spins counterclockwise, and the other one spins clockwise. I mean, it makes sense actually because it looks cooler when they're going opposite directions. I feel like, right? If they were going the same direction, I don't know. I don't feel like it
looks weird.
Yeah, it would, right? It kind of makes sense that they did that. I know that seems weird, but it kind of makes sense. So, this is just one of those things that's been around for forever. So, what other rides? I'm trying to think what other rides are in every single Disney park.
Like
a version of the Haunted Mansion, I guess, but not the Haunted Mansion because it's different in the Asian parks.
Yeah. So Pirates. There's Pirates in Tokyo Disneyland and Florida and
I think Pirates actually is everywhere. Yeah, but I mean the one in Shanghai is way
it's different.
Nice. It's way cooler. But there's
I don't think on the more complicated rides you get like one in every single park that is exactly the same. Like they all have variations. Even like talking Haunted Mansion, it's different between each park.
It's extraordinarily different in the Asian parks. I mean, it's a whole different ride. It's not even like the same thing. In fact, better. Yeah. I mean,
and even in Paris as well, it's very different.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Dumbo is it is definitely the classic ride, and I mean it's funny because they're like I can't count the amount of times if you're watching shows and stuff like I actually think about when I've watched Modern Family, they did an episode where they were in Disneyland and, they had them on Dumbo because it's just, you just assume, oh, you're going to Disneyland. Well, what are you going to do? Go ride Dumbo? Like, it's just assume like, it's kind of like, it's one and the same as Disneyland, even though like, to Damon's point, a lot of us past a certain point, we never ride the ride, but just because you're not there with your kids riding it doesn't mean that the ride shouldn't be there, right? Like it's kind of interesting if you think about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, and I realized there is actually what are they called? The rockets in Tomorrowland, I guess. Would be another...
that counts. I think that counts, right? Although I will say those are
scarier because you feel like you're going to fly out of them.
No, for real. I remember we like always skipped those, right? Because they always had a long line, right? And then one day it didn't have a long line, so we were like, all right, let's do them, whatever. And then we got on them. It was like, wow, these are kind of fast, like faster than what I thought they were going to be. And like, especially when you get down to the bottom, when it's like slowing down, it's like, whoa, this thing moves. Like,
it's because it actually tilts you to the outside, so it feels like it's pulling you out of the ride a little harder than like Dumbo.
Yeah, it's just so it's interesting but yeah, you're right. So technically there's 3 of those spinner rides at Magic Kingdom. Wow. Didn't even really think about that. But listen, it's great. They're great kid rides.
Four if you count that Dumbo's 2 in 1. There.
That's true. It is 2 in 1. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That is a good point. And really true too. They've really kind of kept it too that one of them is for Lightning Lane and the other one is for just standby, right? So like that's kind of how they broke it out. But I think they still will, like, if the Lightning Lane one's not busy and standby is, like, they try to balance it out, right? Like it's not just like a they'll run them at capacity as much as possible. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which, going back to earlier, like I realize I feel like, Hollywood Studios could benefit from a ride like that, and Epcot could benefit from a ride like that, like Dumbo, because kid rides, you can theme them appropriately to the area. They're not super, and the hard part is it's a, if you do too much of that, it becomes just like, like any county fair or carnival or whatever. But, so, you don't want to overdo that type of ride, but I think having those in each park, I think it's good for, some of the parks don't, or I guess I don't feel like they have the small children stuff necessarily in mind.
I agree with you.
So I think we could use more Dumbo.
I mean, to your point, like Hollywood Studios at my daughter's age is a half day perk, right? Like there's a couple things for her there, but it's like she's not doing Star Tours. She's not doing any of the Star Wars stuff, basically. Like we can do Muppets. Even
for us, like my son's older, and we'll do, not a half day, but like we'll be done there by like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon kind of thing. Like there's not enough there. I guess for us, we have like the big headliner rides that we want to do, and then past that it's the decision of, we're waiting for Fantasmic or we're leaving, right?
Yeah, I get that.
So but something like Dumbo there wouldn't solve that, but for in your situation, it would actually make the park a little bit more appealing if there was some rides that were more tuned at younger kids.
And I mean, listen, it's gotten better, right? Like, because they added that, and we actually didn't even do it this past time, and we meant to. They added that Lightning McQueen thing, like little show. They have the Disney Junior thing. They've got the Frozen show. They've got the whole Toy Story Land.
Alien Swirling Saucers are there, which is that's a good ride too. But that's the only one in the park. Whereas Disney or Magic Kingdom, we just listed off 3 different distinct rides. That those simple, spin around rides, but I think more is better in this case.
No, I agree with you. Like I said, I mean, and Epcot's a little different though too, right? Like, so Epcot doesn't have a lot of kid stuff, but it also has like, my daughter actually really digs Living with the Land. She rode Soarin'. Like she could do pretty much everything at Epcot with the exception of like Test Track and Guardians, right? Like everything else is, and there's the aquarium there and all that. Like I was just talking to my sister-in-law about this because they were like, they've got like a 2-year-old or like a 3-year-old and like a 1-year-old, and they were like, well, we want to do food and wine, but like, should we really take the kids there? And I'm like, well, listen, there's a whole aquarium there, like there's the whole aquarium. Like you can absolutely do that with them. You could do Spaceship Earth, like that's fine. You could do the Grand Fiesta Tour or Ride of the Week last week or 2 weeks ago. There's like lots of stuff you can do with kids there. So,
oh, You know what would be incredibly dangerous if they put a spin, where that center part in the aquarium, like where you walk out in and it's like the full 360 view.
Oh yeah.
If they put a spinning ride in the middle of that, you can see all the fish and get nauseous really quickly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So let's do our ad and then we'll talk,
right.
We'll talk about some other stuff.
DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2021, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767. When you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you, or if you're on the website, use the drop-down and select Welcome Home.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't talk enough about this crazy creature that was going to walk around through the galaxy.
Yeah, we can go back to that.
There was so much here. Like I'm just trying to imagine how this thing works. Like how do they? So, like I said, I don't think anything exists in the world of robot that 6 people could ride on that looks like you know what I mean? Like they'd be creating something that completely doesn't exist.
So I feel like there is a way to do this that, you're thinking of like an animatronic, like it's actually walking and like proper like robot stuff.
That's
right?
what it looks like though, right? Like,
yeah, but I feel like, there's the design stuff. And then I feel like there's ways they could do it where, you hide, there may be something underneath, like it looks like it's walking, but it has something underneath of it that's like stabilizing it or wheels or whatever, so it doesn't, or so they can move it around. What I was actually kind of envisioning when I read this was, we have the trolley cars in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And I was envisioning something like that where it's like, you get on somewhere, you basically ride it around, and it's not it's not that this thing is stopping and interacting with people all the time. What I would imagine is, it kind of has a path that it goes down. And, like the trolley cars, that those function just fine with, people walking around, horses and stuff like that. Like, they would just have to, make sure that they're clearing a path. But then what I could see is, whenever this thing stops or when, it's kind of sitting idle, that there's an, the potential there for an animatronic, somebody using an animatronic that like all those interactions that you were talking about, where it's like this thing is eating and like, like, kind of dealing with people. I can't imagine it being like, it walking up behind somebody and having an interaction with it. I don't like that. Seems way too far away from anything we could do right.
Yeah. Well, it does say though. So it says, there's a quote from the story lead for Galaxy's Edge, and it says, "So you would go. We like the idea of a big beast lumbering through the land and having a very personal connection to you. So you go up to it, pat her muzzle, and she would react to you. We really wanted to make you believe that Ely was a real creature. So you would go on rides. We actually had a path that went around the land, mostly to the Rise of the Resistance area and back in front of the garage. It was a circle. So that's what they're saying. Yeah. And then Scott Trowbridge, the guy who like led the whole thing, said
Main Street Trolley.
Exactly
what they're doing.
It's controlled loop. And then he said Ely was a creature that we designed and did a fair amount of work to figure out how we would bring her to life. We fell in love with the designs. We did some models and figured out how to bring her to life technically. And then ultimately what we realized with the kind of population we expect on the land, we won't really be able to have her feel authentic, which I think is what comes down to it, right? Like, this was the whole thing with the droids wandering around too, right? Great idea, would be very cool. But, and Damon talks about this all the time. You have this problem of, kids jumping on them and people breaking them. And like, there's logistical issues with doing these.
It's not even like people jumping on them. I think it's just density. Too many people.
Yeah.
People don't even realize it's there. They step back into it, think accidents happen. Right.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I get that. I get that, if Galaxy's Edge was, as non-busy as it could be, if you got there right as the park is closing, and when there's not nearly as many people in a land, right? If you could keep it at that kind of population density, I could see something like this working. But they just or Galaxy's Edge is too new. It's too busy. It's too much to have a giant thing moving through the land right now.
Yeah, and that can only accommodate 6 people at a time. Do you remember? Can you imagine the line for that? Like, oof.
I mean, even the the cars and stuff in Magic Kingdom, I think you can get like I've seen like 8 or 10 people in those, which again is not not amazing, but but
the whole intent riding a regular car. That's not riding a giant animatronic beast.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, the difference would be people don't or most people don't stop to line up for the trolley, but if there was a big bantha looking thing, I could see people, there would be I waited 4 hours to ride this thing on a loop around Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, exactly. I'm almost wondering, Trevor, if it was like a situation where, kind of to your point, like maybe it was like attached to the ground and like the ground would somehow move it, but like it would still make the legs move and make it seem like it was walking when it really wasn't.
Yeah, there's,
you know what I mean? There's like some
ways there's ways to create the effect of something walking without actually like having it walk. Or there's ways to stabilize it, and then because looking at these drawings, it would be something where it's got so much hair and everything, you can hide a lot of the obvious mechanisms, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's just I mean, like I said, it would be extraordinarily cool if they did it, but it's like I kind of get why they cut it from the budget. It just doesn't make sense, right? Like there were other more important things. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. Let's So
Iger put out an update. Oh, by the way, there was some news that came out today that I'll just say really quickly before we get into this Iger thing.
Okay.
So I don't know if you saw, but they announced today that they're going to add new scenes to Star Tours for next year.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that came out today. Yeah. So, it didn't make it on the rundown in time because it literally just came out today and rundown was written yesterday. So, but yeah, so they said that they didn't say where they're going, but I think it's pretty obvious what they're going to do, right? Like I haven't watched the new season of The Mandalorian yet, and I didn't watch Andor, even though I wanted to watch both, but I feel like that's the places that they're going to be going, right? Like obviously to me, I don't know, because there's no new movies coming out anytime soon. So what other new places are they going to send you to?
Yeah.
Like you're definitely going to run into Baby Yoda, right? Like you're going to run into like there's no way you're not going to.
Yeah, sorry, I just found the link, by the way.
Yeah, you're just reading it now.
Yeah. So okay, hold on.
I'm just saying, like, I feel like the Mandalorian are going to be involved. That show's way too big for it not to show up in Star Tours. And then, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Grogu is one of the new holograms. Like, you know what I mean? Like one of the, the little hologram that comes up and says, we need your help, to follow these coordinates to come and rescue me or something. Right. Like, I just don't see there any way that it's not going to be that.
So I'm watching this video right now.
Oh, I didn't even see that there was a video.
Yeah. It looks like it's actually bringing in like the later trilogy stuff.
But see, they said that they did announce what destinations they were going to go to. They said that there was going to be a secret or whatever.
Well, I guess the video is kind of alluding to like they're showing. Yeah. Actually, I guess they're kind of jumping all over the place with it. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no way it's not like Mandalorian stuff. Like it just has to be. It says
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because there's Mandalorian, there's Ahsoka,
there's Andor, which I heard was amazing, by the way, and I didn't watch. Everybody said it was like the best Star Wars show, and I didn't see it. But yeah, like they would be stupid not to do Mandalorian stuff, right? Like the show was just way too big not to start throwing more of it in the parks. I mean, we have a little bit now in Galaxy's Edge, right? But like, why not add it to Star Tours?
How much do you think there's a chance that you'll get Pedro Pascal cameos in the ride?
Well, I mean, probably not though, right? Because he's gonna have his helmet on, right? So, I mean, maybe he'll provide a voice, or maybe they'll do that thing that they did. because like they did that thing with Olaf where he's in one of the shows, but like it seems like they didn't feel like paying Josh Gad more money to voice him, so they just like they reused other audio. Like, yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
I could see there being a cameo in there if they're doing
that'd be cool.
Stuff. Yeah.
But I mean, Pedro Pascal is quite hot right now. So
yeah. That's the thing is Disney's not one to ignore, if something is hyped up enough, I think I could see them going in on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Mandalorian is just, I want to catch up because I've heard from so many people this is a really good season. So
anyway, we kind of got off track there. So
sorry.
The original discussion was Bob Iger shares updates about Journey of Water at Epcot and the new Moana live action film. So,
so first of all, this preview looks good, right? Like it looks, and they showed a video too, but it was just like of waterfalls and water running, which is fine. I like it. Yeah. But like, there's this one picture in the article of Bob standing in front of the Tafiti. Yeah. Which, I mean, look, it's a huge character. Like it looks really cool. It's gigantic and it's, really, it's obviously not life size because it's a whole island in the movie. Right. But it's very cool. Nonetheless,
it's enough that it'll be it'll give that sense of being imposing, especially for kids and whatnot, right?
My daughter will we read a Moana book all the time, and she knows who Tafiti is, right? Like she will be like, she'll literally be in awe of this when she sees it, So I think the bigger news though is probably because we just got a little preview, right? Like I think the bigger news is that they're doing a live action Moana, which, is probably a record from original movie to live action version, right?
Yeah. Pretty quick turnaround on that one, which, okay. I feel...
You're going to say something that's popular here, though. Like, this is not going to be an unpopular opinion. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, like, did they need a live action?
Do they need a live action of any of them?
I get that, Dwayne Johnson wanted to reprise his role, good for him. Obviously that,
honestly, go ahead, sorry.
He's definitely, on board with anything Disney's doing. It seems, he's been in multiple movies of theirs at this point.
Jungle Cruise and yeah.
So that's fine. But I don't know. I'm not excited to go see a live action Moana. Like I was fine with, just Moana being the way that it is.
Listen, I get what you're saying and I don't disagree with you. I will say I would feel that way more if The Rock wasn't going to be Maui, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm kind of interested in seeing him play a live version of Maui. I think it's going to be kind of cool, right?
Now,
go ahead.
Here's the part that I think a lot of people are overlooking is, so yeah, great. They're excited about, The Rock being in there and everything. There's that whole part with Tamatoa, which is the giant crab.
Yeah.
How's that going to look live action?
They're about to put out a whole Little Mermaid movie that takes place half underwater, right? So,
yeah, but he's supposed to be like a demon-esque type thing.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know.
It could be very. Hopefully, it's like. It'd be kind of cool if it's kind of scary almost, but they probably won't go scary with it, right?
I know what you're saying is but there's Sebastian who is very small, and then there's Tamatoa.
What about Ursula? Ursula's in the movie, so it's,
yeah.
Listen, I just think the idea of it is cool. I also am like. I think it's kind of a bummer that the original Moana is not going to be Moana, which, while I want to say, okay, I get it. She's not a teenager. Most of the time teenagers in movies and TV are played by 20 somethings anyway. And she's like 23. So you think she'd do it, but I'm sure there's other reasons why they're deciding to recast it. But
yeah, it's probably more scheduling than anything. That's usually, Whenever I hear about, this person turned down this role, you always hear later in an interview, they're like, well, I was working on another project at the time, so it didn't really work out. It's never that they're just like, no, I'm not doing it. It's always like they've got something else going on, and that's why they say no, I feel, most of the time.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. But she is going to be an executive producer on the new movie, apparently. So there's that. But like I said, and you know, I don't know if you watched the video that The Rock shared about this, but it was actually, I'm a little bit rocked out. I've talked about this before, where I'm just kind of like, all right, he's in enough stuff, and like, what's the last good thing The Rock was in?
You're rocked out.
Yeah, I am. I'm rocked out, man. I am rocked out. I like your Star Wars out. I'm out on The Rock, right? Like, it's just, he's in so much stuff and none of it is good. Like, when's the last time he was in something good?
You're rocked out, but you don't rock out? Is that?
Yeah, no, I do rock out all the time. I mean, I like Jungle Cruise. That might be I mean, I thought it was all right. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not a fan of like the Fast and Furious movies, so like that's not on the list for me. I'm trying to even think of other stuff that he was in. I mean, that Jumanji movie was good. Yeah, I didn't see the second one, but the first one was good. But he wasn't the best part of the movie, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, the cast in there was like,
I mean, I think Jack Black stole that movie pretty much, right? Like the first one.
I don't know. I feel like it was a combination of all of them. Like, but you know, it wasn't just The Rock being The Rock in that movie, right? Like, it was, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Let's not go through The Rock's discography here. The thing is that, yeah, like I know what you're saying. You know, I'm kind of over just live action stuff in general. Like, and it's not that I'm like out watching a ton of them, but it just feels like this almost feels like back in the 90s when they kept doing sequels to every big movie, and they were all the direct to VHS
ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like it seems like they're kind of doing the same thing, where it's like they found a formula that's like, oh, you know, this is, you know, people buy this stuff. So they do it to the point where everybody's sick of it. And I know Disney, you know, that's kind of Disney's model is, you know, once they find something that works, they double down on it until it doesn't work anymore. I feel like they're doing that with the live action stuff, which for me is, you know, once it passes a certain point where it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. You can make live action movies. It's like, I don't want to see anymore. So that's not to say that I won't, you know, we'll have to see what Moana looks like when this all comes about. But I'm kind of leaning towards it, you know, I'll wait for Disney Plus, or I may watch it, or I may just pass it by at this point.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I think it just depends, right? Like, going into like Aladdin, I didn't see Aladdin being, you know, a great movie, because it's like, okay, well, how do you replace Robin Williams, right? Like, you can't, right? And it actually was good. I mean, I really liked it. It was different, and they did it differently, and it, you know, Will Smith didn't try to be Robin Williams. He kind of did his own thing, and it worked. Like, I really liked it. And, you know, there were a couple of live, I thought Jungle Book was pretty good. And I don't even know if you consider this a live action adaptation, but I thought Christopher Robin was pretty good. I don't know if you saw that movie, but that movie I really liked a lot. But I don't know. That's not really there wasn't like a Christopher Robin animated movie, right? It's just like
that was like a sequel almost, or
kind of,
because it was him like later
as
on
an adult
in his life, right?
Yeah, it was an adult. Yeah,
kind of like how Hook would be a sequel to Peter Pan.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't think we talked about this either, but like the new Peter Pan movie that's coming out too, that's coming to Disney Plus, I think that doesn't look bad either. I thought it looked like there's some interesting stuff there, especially, and I forget who's playing Hook, but whoever was playing Hook looked kind of cool as Hook. Gosh, who was it? It's going to drive me crazy now. But anyway,
you know, this is the thing. Is it like I know you're saying like, hey, you know, these movies aren't bad. Like, you sit down and watch them and they're good. I'm not discounting that. Like, I know, you know, Disney generally does good movies. It's just, I feel like they're kind of latching on to the, you know, it's a live action remake. It's like, okay, yeah, great. You're doing another live action remake. Like, it's becoming a trope.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think that the thing for me is the ones that they do are successful when they don't stick to the exact thing that the old movie did, which I say that, but I think the most successful financially one was Lion King, and that one was pretty much a carbon copy of the original, right? Like, it was almost exactly
because people just wanted an updated Lion King.
I mean, like, listen, we're saying this, but like, people are going to see these things. I mean, like, Aladdin made like over $1 billion. I mean, I think Lion King did too. I mean, I understand why Disney's doing it. It's a popular thing to do. You know, they're still popular, right? So, it's just weird because Moana is so new, you know? I feel like they should do a live action. They should do a live action Toy Story. Can you do a live action Toy Story?
Yeah. Again, I feel like there's certain things that when you like cross into uncanny valley with them, it just doesn't work. Yeah.
I'm in no way serious about that. I'm just thinking of like, they're not trying to live action any of the Pixar movies, right? Like it's
because it's Pixar. Yeah. Do Bug's Life. Tell me how that works out.
I do Bug's Life. Yeah. I'm just trying to think
realistic live action. Look at that spider.
I think Up could be cool, right?
Yeah.
I did see. I don't know if you saw that they cast Lilo for Lilo and Stitch for that live action movie, and
I did see that actually.
I mean, they cast like the perfect kid for that. I mean,
yeah.
And
again, that's even another one that it's like, I'm curious about it, but and to your point, I know Disney does this stuff because it's popular, and I'm not discounting. I'm not saying that these things shouldn't be made. I'm just saying for myself.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Once things hit a certain point of like too hyped, or like it's kind of the same thing like you said about me being Star Warsed out, is it's like when it hits a point where it's like a little too much, I just completely turn off on it altogether. Like I'm just I don't even want to look at this anymore, right? So I'm worried that Disney's kind of going down that path with some of these remakes right now.
No, I listen. I totally understand. I get it. Yeah. I'm trying to even think of the last time I watched a movie. To be honest with you, I just don't have time for movies anymore. Like, actually, last one I watched was the new Black Panther. So I mean, that was probably the last one. And then whenever the next Marvel one comes onto Disney Plus, I guess Quantumania, right? So I'll watch that when that comes out. But I'm like, and the only reason I'm watching those is because my wife doesn't want to watch them, and I can't watch movies with my wife because she like falls asleep midway through them. I'm sure that's a problem for a lot of people, but but we very rarely watch movies together. So it's only stuff that she doesn't like.
I realized. So I haven't watched any Disney movies. The last movie that I actually watched with my wife was The Meg.
Dude, that's like so long ago.
Well, no, sorry, but we didn't watch it when it first came out. Like we got it on Amazon Prime and we watched it. But like to your point, like we don't sit down and watch movies.
How did you end up landing on that one? Like that's such a random movie to pick.
No, my wife loves shark movies.
Okay,
so there is a very large library of ranging from very bad to very good shark movies. Deep Blue Sea,
yeah.
Like Deep Blue Sea is one of the better ones for sure.
Oh no, I was gonna say that was a bad one, but
oh no, it's good. It's good in that like it's good bad. The same way. Yeah, it's campy, right? So that's an enjoyable one to sit down and watch because you can kind of laugh through it almost. It's
Well, the Meg was like that though too. The Meg was ridiculous. Like that was exactly a totally ridiculous movie.
Yeah. So and I think that's part of why she likes them is that it's goofy. Like you would never end up in that situation with a shark, right?
Oh no, of course not. I mean, it's Jason Statham too, just being Jason Statham. Like it's just it's ridiculous. Yeah. Wait, they made a second one of those?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it came out this year. Okay.
And that's the thing is that, we like my wife, she finds stuff like that she likes to watch every once in a while. Right now she's on that kick for shark movies. But outside of that, like, something would have to draw us back in for like Disney movies. And right now, like you said, we're not really at a point where we're watching a lot of Disney movies. And it's not that I'm like, I don't like Disney movies. It's just nothing's grabbed my attention. And I actually think the next Disney movie I'm going to watch is going to be Haunted Mansion.
I was going to say Haunted Mansion will get you, right? Like, I'm definitely going to watch that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like nothing else has grabbed my attention like that movie has. Yeah, like, absolutely. And even like the Moana remake, it's just like, I'm like, okay, cool. Like add that to the pile of movies I might watch at some point.
I'm just trying to think, what was the last live action that they did? I mean, didn't you watch Jungle?
Wasn't it?
You watched Jungle Cruise, didn't you? I thought you watched Jungle Cruise. Yeah.
We watched Jungle Cruise, but I
like the movies made on rides. Like I'm all about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, in terms of live action movies, like was Lion King the last one, or was there another one past that? I don't even remember. I mean, I know like right now, like Little Mermaid is all the hype.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I mean, listen, that looks pretty different, right? Okay, let me see. I just looked up a list here.
Actually like a Wikipedia page for Disney.
Yeah, there is. So they had, wow. Okay, wait. There was Aladdin. That was 2019. There was The Lady and the Tramp, which I actually watched, believe it or not.
I forgot about Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, they had Mulan. Mulan was 2020. Oh, Cruella, 2021. I feel like Cruella was not really a remake, though, right? Because you were telling a different story.
That was an origin story. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
It's not a live action remake to me. Yeah. I heard that movie was really good too. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was good. You trying to find the whole list here?
I'm looking at the list, but I think. Oh, Pinocchio! Wow, I totally forgot the Pinocchio.
Oh yeah, because it was got such bad reviews, and then before that it was Cruella. So yeah, so it was like Cruella and yeah. But I mean, even look at if you look at these, all of they all got really good cinema scores, right? Actual people that saw them really liked them. So I mean, I don't know. Oh, that was Dumbo too. I didn't see Dumbo. I liked Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast wasn't bad. There's
a remake of Sword in the Stone coming up.
Is that really happening?
Yeah, it's on there's an upcoming list and it's TBA, but there's I guess they have it in the plan to do Sword in the Stone.
It's just rumored.
I think if it's on this list, I'm assuming it's somebody probably talked about it loosely at some point.
Probably didn't get actually announced or something, right?
Yeah, well, because Moana's on this list now. Lilo and Stitch is on there. I know the Aristocats is getting a remake.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Which that's kind of random, but
again, that piques my interest. But there's a whole bunch of other movies in here that I'm like, I don't.
I mean, there's a Tinkerbell one. There's a Robin Hood one. There's a Bambi. That's not good. Oh well, it's like the Lion King as far as live action goes, right?
And actually, the Untitled. Or there's a Cruella sequel, which I'm guessing is probably going to tie into 101 Dalmatians.
Well, and then I also wondered too, they also mentioned Aladdin sequel on here too. Is that going to be the Aladdin 2? Which I never saw.
Or whatever it was, or Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, it was something like that, right? It was, wasn't it all about Jafar? Wasn't it the Return of Jafar or something? Or
sorry. There was the third one that was some King of the Thieves or something like that. Yeah, I forgot about Return of Jafar.
Is that what it's called? Was it Return? Did I make that up?
Return of Jafar was the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't think I ever even saw because it was straight to VHS, right? It was one of those ones you talked about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
boy. Okay,
yeah,
we should get out of this rabbit hole because we could. We could talk about
this forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we come back around to some park stuff? Let's talk about annual passes.
Yeah, so annual passes are coming back. How exciting!
Yeah. Just little details. Annual passes, no big deal.
Actually,
big deal.
New sales of the Incredipass, Sorcerer Pass, and Pirate Pass will resume and can be purchased online beginning April 20th. And then the other piece of news here, though, is for Blue Card DVC members, we actually will get the benefit of buying the Sorcerer Pass, which is the DVC pass, right, on April 13th. So we get it a week early as a benefit of having the Blue Card. So, all right.
Which
I like a benefit
because, if they sell out really fast again, at least if you're a DVC, you get first crack at it.
Well, I said this in the Discord, and I think this is true. Based on the reaction I saw in the Facebook groups and on the Discord, these are going to sell out in 10 seconds. I think that they're going to sell out fast because they're basically doing the same thing now that they're doing at Disneyland, where they're controlling the inventory of it. And so, if they sell a certain amount of them, then they're going to stop selling them until they have more to sell. They're having a very strict allotment, it seems like.
Which, totally makes sense because you don't want to have a bunch of annual pass holders.
Yeah. It stinks for guests, right? For people that want annual passes, but it makes sense from an operation standpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard because, there's the arguments on both sides. There's the, people who want annual passes or say, well, what harm is it doing? It just means that we can go to the park when we want. But then on the flip side, you've got people who are planning, it can be a once in a lifetime trip or people that don't go all the time. And if annual pass holders are taking up, park reservations, dining reservations, all that kind of stuff. It makes it hard. Yeah. It makes it harder for, people that want to, book trips there that aren't annual pass holders. And then of course there's also, Disney's side of it, which is people who are annual pass holders traditionally don't spend as much money as people who come once, because, people come once, they'll buy the souvenirs, they'll pay for, extras, or, pay for dining, stuff like that. Whereas annual pass holders will, show up, ride a couple of rides, and maybe buy a Mickey bar and then leave.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see, I can see why, Disney wants to have annual pass holders, but they also don't want that to saturate the park with annual pass holders.
Yeah, which in the past it was just unlimited, right? I mean, like they didn't ever limit it. It was just anybody could buy one at any time. And, and listen, it's like you're saying, it's a tough balance, right? Because the parks are already so busy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, this actually tells me that they are looking at maybe a slump coming up soon here, and want to like prop up the attendance or whatever. But maybe they just also, it's time. Maybe this is one of the Iger things that is coming back now, right? Like, because it seems like a lot of changes have been happening, like where they're reversing a lot of changes that were made over the past couple of years for the better. For all the things that people have been asking for, which is like the parking, right? The parking fees, getting removed, and even like things like the DVC 100-point thing going back. Like it seems like there's a lot of guest friendly things that they're trying to do, and I can't help but ascribe these things to Iger returning. It just feels like it. That's what it is. But yeah. I mean, look, this is great. I'm glad that they're returning. It's funny because before we started recording, we were all like talking about like, well, you're going to buy them, or like,
yeah. So let's talk about this, because I think our listeners will want to hear this and hear our thoughts on it. I'm not planning on buying an annual pass, even though I could buy one on the 13th. But the reason is that right now I'm in that interesting transition phase where, kind of like Damon's talked about, with his kids going into high school and college and stuff. My son's going into high school, and it's very hard to, we're not guaranteed that we're going to go multiple times a year right now, or it's not easy to pull him out of school. So because of that, I don't want to go and buy an annual pass and then feel like I have to plan additional trips and then disrupt his school schedule. So
yeah.
I'm opting to not do it right now, but give it. And the nice thing is, the fact that these are coming back, in a year or whatever, when I want to look at it again, there should be, it should be kind of stabilizing to a point where you can, get one when you want to get one almost. Yeah. Right. So, yeah.
And that's kind of, we were talking about this like beforehand. It's like, I know I don't have a trip this year, right? But I might have a trip next year. But who knows if they're going to be selling them next year? But I could buy it now and then just not activate it, because you don't, I don't know. I'm assuming most people know this, but you don't have to activate your pass immediately. You can actually hang on to it for a year, and it doesn't even start. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't actually activate until you first walk through the gate with it.
Exactly. And then you get a year from that point, right? So like if I bought it on April 20th, I could wait to activate it until April 20th, 2024. And then that pass would last until April 20th, 2025. Like you can do that. Right. And so, part of me is thinking about it, because I'm like, I know I'm going to go next year. I don't know how many days I'm going to go for. So like, that's the other thing, right? Like you always got to do the math, right? It's like, this
basically is about 10 days is when you start to,
depending on where you go, when you go though, right? Like it depends on where you go, because it's variable pricing now. Right. But like, we always will look at like when we plan on going and see what the cost would be, to not do it, and then to do it. Right. Like that's, what we usually look at. So I don't know. We haven't really decided on this yet, but it probably not now. We might just wait,
So here's something else to make it more complicated for you. If you buy it now, you're basically immune to any price adjustments that come over the next year.
That's true.
So that's the other side of it too. And this is where, you know, a lot of people don't always think about this is, yeah, you know, if you buy an annual pass and you're not going to use it for 8 months, if they raise the price of that annual pass, which does happen, you know, Disney does it all the time, where they will raise prices. If you bought it now and they raise the price, you still have it. Like they're not going to raise the price on you because you've already purchased it and it's on your account. So they can't retroactively increase the price. So it may not be a bad idea if you know you're planning to go in the next 12 months, because that's the other thing too, is, you know, like you were saying, you don't have to activate it until much later, but I believe there is an expiry on them now, or they did that even before COVID, where the tickets have an expiration date, and even the annual passes do. Like, you do have to activate it. I think it's like 12 months or something like that.
It is. It's 12 months. Like, yeah, you have 12 months to activate.
So, you know, if you're going to use it in the next year, it makes sense. Like, you could leave it right up until, you know, the end of the next year, then use it and then get the benefit out of it, and also get it, you know, you get it at the cheaper price if there has been price increases. But then, yeah, you're in that position of having to determine if you're going to go more than what the pass is worth.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. I'm glad they're bringing this back. I mean, I think we all knew it would happen eventually, right? But it's nice to see the DVC pass back, right? Like, that's the nice thing there.
Yeah, because I know for us, like, when we talked about it, you know, right now we're not doing it because, you know, we want, you know, our son needs to, you know, focus on high school, and I don't want to be disrupting him by saying, you know, hey, let's go to Disney. As much as I know he would like that, he also told us, you know, I don't want to be leaving, you know, if he's got, you know, certain times a year, like, you know, starting a new semester, he doesn't want to be gone for a week and disrupting that. So, you know, for a year, you know, for a couple of years, you know, we're just not going to explore it. But as he gets towards the end of high school, yeah, you know, having the annual passes back, like we used them previously and I loved it. I thought it was awesome because, you know, on top of, you know, DVC being relatively cheap, it's like, once you have the annual pass and you've kind of used it enough that you broke even on it, it's like, oh, I'm planning a trip, but my park tickets it's not that they don't cost you anything, but because you paid for the annual pass, but it's like, it almost feels like a freebie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a different feeling for sure when we have an annual pass, and like the flexibility is so nice too. It's like, oh, we'll just pop into a park because why not? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. We did that actually. Back in 2019, the day we were leaving, we had some time and we actually got on the monorail and went over to Epcot and did a couple of things, then came back. We didn't even ride any rides. We just were like, oh, we want to get some stuff. Oh, well, let's pop over into Epcot because, you know, hey, annual passes, I don't have to worry about it. You know, you pop in, you know, exactly, buy a couple of things and then come back.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, that's how it was on our meetup, right? It's like I got to the meetup last year before you did, and I just popped into Magic Kingdom, had a sundae, and felt ill afterwards, and then came to meet up with you. Yeah, you know, like one does.
That doesn't mean, you know, having an annual pass doesn't mean you make good choices.
No, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it was. I still think it was a good choice. I just didn't feel good afterwards. But anyway. So really quickly here, we got two more things, and we'll wrap this up quickly. But Disney Cruise Line is introducing what they're calling DisneyBand Plus, which is literally just Magic Bands. I don't know why they're not calling it Magic Bands and they're calling it DisneyBand, but you know.
That's what I was going to ask, because it's literally just a Magic Band Plus, but they're making sure they call it DisneyBand.
Yeah, it's weird. And I mean, you're going to be able to use, the cool thing here is you're going to be able to use it much in the way you do in the parks, and pretty much the same way, unlocking your door, charging stuff to your room, you know, all that. I'm actually surprised that it took them this long to do this, right? Like, you would think this would have been an easy thing for them to do sooner than that, right? But yeah, I mean, they're also, you know, the cool thing I think is that you'll be able to use it in both the parks and on the cruise. Like, so you could, you know, if you're doing a cruise trip with a park trip, you could use your Magic Band on both, and it will work for both. I mean, it's pretty cool, I think.
I mean, like you said, it's kind of like you almost look at as like, well, why, why wasn't this already a thing? Like, because it even extends further than that, is like, the same thing about Disneyland versus Disney World, and, Disneyland getting magic bands as well. I kind of forgot that, cruises weren't using the technology either. And it's almost like, well, this feels like it should have been happening 5 years ago.
Yeah. Like why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of strange that it took them this long, but whatever. I mean, it's getting done now. Right. So,
and it means you'll get more Disney or more Magic Band options, I guess. So, yeah,
exactly.
It's always nice because they're like terrible little collectible items that you buy more of them when you don't need them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we've so many of them at this point. Like, I think I said this, the last trip that we went on, I think each of us brought like 3 of them just to have like options. Like, you know what I mean? Yep. Like we like switched them up every day. We wore different ones all the time.
I've got a collection of the old ones too. But we got the Magic Band Plus on our last trip, which I'm happy about because they're rechargeable. So I don't have to worry about, is my band dead and will it work for PhotoPass stuff? Right. Like I have one now that I can charge it every time.
Yeah, no, exactly. Which is good. The other thing here, so I mean, I think that's all we need to really say about this.
Yeah.
So the last thing I had on the list was a bunch of new merch celebrating Mickey's Toontown reopening and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So we talked before about like this little picnic thing that you're going to be able to do. They have like a picnic basket and blanket set that are themed to Runaway Railway, which are pretty cool. I like the designs of these. The thing I think is the coolest on here, though, I don't know if you saw this video of the Runaway Railway remote control trains. Did you see this?
I didn't see the video. I see them on the page.
Yeah, they're like, so they're
okay. Oh, here's the video.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So like they kind of work the same way as the train in Runaway Railway, where they can break off the main train, and then each car goes by itself, which is also very cool.
So they're actually using the trackless ride system to make a toy.
It's kind of cool.
Oh, that's so weird. Yeah,
but also, I mean, I like it. I mean, listen, I think it's one of those toys I'd probably use like twice and then like never again. Like, I like, my wife had bought me, remember the BB-8 that came out like right when that movie first came out, the little remote control BB-8 that you had. I got one of those and it was fun for like, I don't know, 15 minutes, and I don't think I ever picked it up again. In fact, I don't even know where it is. Like, it's somewhere, but
I mean, my son made a droid and he pulls it out about once a year at this point. And uses it. And,
but I mean, listen, I just think it's cool. It's cool technology, and I just think it's neat how they put it together. So
I'm also sorry. I just noticed this bird. I don't know how it looks like its name is Chubby. Or
I think Chubby. Yeah, he's at the end. He's at the end of the ride. Wait, did you not get on the ride on your trip?
No, we didn't, because our Hollywood Studios Day got messed up with everything that was going on. Yeah, so I'm curious about this little bird now that they've got in there as like an additional mascot
he's been
for
in
the ride
shorts,
almost.
Though, too. Yeah, he's been in the shorts. I feel like so.
Okay, he must have been some of the newer ones, because I don't remember ever seeing him in the old ones.
It does say a Mickey and Minnie's Railway original, so I swear I saw him in the shorts, but I could be wrong. But it says he's original.
Oh wait, no, I remember now. Yeah, there was the one where Mickey had, he had the little bird, and there was all the other birds that were trying to get into the house because the bird. Okay, yeah, all right, okay, I remember now.
I want to say his name was Chubby. I think that's the correct way to say it. But yeah, so these are pretty cool though. Here you go, Dan. You can get your wife this little bag that they have, little satchel.
That bag. That's the gift.
There it is
for your wife. That's the Disney gift. There you go.
They also have one of those little ones that can like ride on your shoulder too. Like they have a couple of those. I feel like I see people walking around those with around the park with those all the time now.
It's almost a fanny pack, but not really.
Oh yeah, almost. Slightly cooler than a fanny pack. Yeah. What would you call it?
Actually, this is way cooler than a fanny pack.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. So, yeah, that's all I got. Do you have anything else?
No, I think that was plenty for today.
I agree with you.
We're kind of all over the place, but
I mean, is that any different than usual?
I feel there's different levels of so I feel some of our episodes we do stick to the script a little better.
That's fine.
But I feel we had a lot of tangents today, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, wrap us up.
All right. As usual, if you want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your emails, your own trip reports, or asking us questions, all that kind of stuff. So you can always find us there. If you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Facebook as Welcome Home Podcast, YouTube also as Welcome Home Podcast, and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. If you're on Facebook, make sure you have a look at Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. That's our Facebook group where we have lots of great Disney experts in there that love to just talk about Disney and all around, have fun and just, be cool people that like Disney. I think it's, the group where the cool people that like Disney hang out. So, make sure you
how little drama we have in that group, and we really haven't to boot anybody except for one bot one time. That was it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel bad about that because it was a bot. And someone's going to post like a 3PO crying meme or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But make sure you check out the Facebook group because our listeners are in there, and there's a ton of them that are way smarter than us on the show. It's great conversation to have if you want to go and talk with other Disney folks. If you want to support the show, make sure you go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out some of our merchandise there. We've got t-shirts and mugs and fanny packs, not as cool as the bag that we were just talking about, but you can still get a fanny pack if you want one. And if you would rather support us through Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support that have exclusive merchandise that you can only get on Patreon. And for our Patreon supporters, they also get access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we talk with our listeners and have some good conversations. So if that's more your speed, make sure you check that out. And last but not least, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find the podcast. And on iTunes, if you want to actually write us a review, you can do so. And, we sometimes read those out on the show if we got some good ones. But we like people to review us because it just means that more people can find us and listen to us.
And I don't have any this week, so
yeah, I had a look. I didn't see any new ones either.
Yeah, but don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. Just look for Welcome Home. Just a reminder to our listeners: Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a Disney cast member or DVC representative for anything we talked about today. Thank you to our sponsor, DVC Resale Market, and of course, World of DVC for sponsoring this episode, and also to being, for being continued supporters of the show. We really appreciate them. Please check them out. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no